brand identity, yes, but more importantly, I create digital collateral to communicate effective, tangible messaging. Brands are about building communities. That's just where we are.
Hey, y'all. I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday at 8 p.m. Every week, Thursday at 8 p.m. is my digital show. It's here. I'm so weird. Today, I got a little more close up and personal with you because I couldn't figure out how to get my camera to work. But anyway, that's besides the point. You all want the news, right? The news that you can use. That's what I say. That's how I market things. So that's how I market things. That's how I put things out there. So this week, I am going to give a follow up to some of the health news that we talked about last week. I am going to talk about something that is very dear to my heart. And I'm kind of going on a whim with it because I didn't prepare much of any writing or anything. But this is our news, how we like it, laid back, chill, no stuffiness. I don't give y'all the broadcast personality, although I was trained in it. I am not gonna do that. I figure when I gather with my people, I can gather like we friends, right? And I am here to just inform, to keep you all in the knowledge with what I know, because I am a truth seeker. I'm a root digger. As you all may know, I be wanting to know what's the tea, where it's at, what news people got that they not giving to my people, and I communicate and translate that to you all so that you can use it for the betterment of your life, your family's life, your community's life. And that's just what I do. I am a infiltrator. I go and infiltrate areas they try to keep us out of, if you will, or don't try to keep us out of. Maybe we just don't know that they're there. Maybe we just don't have an understanding of the information. Whatever. I'm your girl to go get. I go get stuff, go get information in the modern times. But anyway, what we're talking about today, some of the stuff is already out there. I'm kind of just trying to have a chill conversation because I talked about some deep things, mental health previously, the febrile seizures and SIDS, that kind of stuff, suicide, that kind of stuff gets you down a little bit. So I want to talk about some uplifting stuff. First, I want to have a conversation in our culture topic about filming in Chicago. So I did a story previously on this, but the owner of the former Marshall Fields warehouse complex wants to bring a touch of Hollywood to the northwest side of Chicago. Nick Point Ventures, which acquired the 22-acre property at 4000 West Diversey Avenue in 2018, is in preliminary discussions with Mayor Lori Lightfoot's administration to create a film production campus that would create hundreds of jobs for the Northwest side, right? So we talked about in Ice Cube's contract. We talked about um, we dissected that contract, and we with the contract with Black people, and we thought it was the most fruitful component in the contract. Remember about the filming and things that he brought forth about production and how Black communities can benefit from that. So let's not bury the ripe fruit or it'll die. We have to jump on top of the opportunity. So we said, let me pull up what we discussed because we talked about it. We on top of it. We already had this conversation, because we that's what we do. That's what we do. So I forgot to share this with you all. Let me add this to the stream. So that is the factory, that the production studio that they're looking to turn into a factory. I mean, to turn from a factory to a production studio. In my head, they already did it. It's good as done. Because that's just how things work, right? So let me go to what we previously discussed. I got my technology So here's the article that I did, and I created these 5 pillars or initiatives that I thought would be um, good. And you can check this out at One Purpose Magazine. But in going back to Ice Cube's conversation, um, he had suggested that this would be some way or some form of reparations to the Black community or the entertainment industry reform and reparations. What he was saying is that it should be mandatory funding of Black studios by the largest Hollywood studios, record companies, and television studios and networks to compensate for years of lack of support, stereotyping, and damage to Black culture. Each will be required to fund an amount yearly. Black studios will own and produce content. Black studios will own and produce content. Black studios will own and produce content by Black creators and will run primarily by Black leadership. That just make me want to go Baptist Pentecostal church on you. Black studios will own and produce content. Say that again. Content can be licensed to major studios. For a race to thrive, it must create art that reflects its views of the world. Racism still runs rampant through our society, and Hollywood is providing the instruction manual. Cube said that I did. Licensing the public airwaves to broadcast networks such as NBC, Fox, CBS, and ABC must require Black produced content equal to 20% of the total content on the network as measured by time. Time slots must be of similar quality to other content. I, I feel a little shade in that. Y'all sense a little shade? The same applies to radio stations and other media where we're given access to publicly licensed airwaves by the FCC. And the final bullet point that he pointed out was a minimum 13.4% Black cast and crew on all major television and film productions. The crew requirement cannot be waived for casts that are overwhelmingly white, Black, Hispanic, Native American, Asian, etc. can be waived as reasonable for TV shows and films to be more reflective of reality. So my follow-up to that within my article was like, okay, we have that out of the way. Now let's dig into what we can do for Chicago studio space and build outs. The possibility right here in the city of Chicago to build wealth and entertainment and create jobs is without measure. Let's look at the tax incentives and benefits, right? In Illinois, 30% tax incentives combined with an additional 15% for resident labor from underemployed areas adds up to a pretty solid proposition in a state that has both rural and urban areas. I mean, yeah. So the incentive is 30% plus 15% for resident labor from underemployed areas. A minimum spend is $100,000. The state of Illinois offers a 30% transferable tax credit for qualified productions. A tax credit is a tax incentive that allows certain taxpayers to subtract the amount of the credit they have accrued from the total they owe the state, right? Because we know Illinois hit you up. It may also be a credit granted in recognition of taxes already paid or a form of state support. So tax credit benefits, 30% of the qualified Illinois production spending, 30% credit on Illinois salaries up to $100,000 per worker. The tax credit can be carried forward 5 years from when originally issued by the Illinois Film Office Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Illinois Film Tax Credit is currently scheduled for legislative renewal in 2020. 15% additional credit applicants will receive an additional 15% credit on salaries of individuals who live in economically disadvantaged areas whose unemployment rate is at least 150% of the state's annual average. So what am I seeking to accomplish? There are many unused, excuse my ambiance, I love it, but it's right on time, right? Talking about Chicago. So there are many unused or abandoned warehouse spaces in Chicago, even extending out to Chicago suburbs. Zero filming or production studios currently. Zero. Zero. None. The city of Chicago could find a way to make these large spaces accessible for people seeking to create these types of studios. Also, support them in funding with equipment, employment opportunities, and marketing to avenues beyond Chicago. This is not an easy feat. There are studios that have successfully established in this city, primarily West, so it's doable. But this isn't solely for the mainstream production companies who already have access to wealth and opportunity. This needs to be streamlined for small business owners to develop and grow in a market that has the potential of growth in this area. I am building the case and finding out what has worked, what's working, and who are currently investing and working in this area. So far, industry experts see the potential. However, in 2019, in a 2019 article in Chicago Business Magazine, it did point out that warehouse space in Chicago seems to be sought out by large companies with online sales seeking space to store products. It might also be difficult to bring in investment revenue from lenders for this type of idea, but it's definitely worth exploring, right? But we saw previously, let me pull that back up, that it's happening. People are doing it, people are trying it, and people are probably going to be successful in doing so. That's why we have to become people. We have to do our part to become people. We have to be those people that's seeking out to do and to become, right? So, anyway, on to our next story. I am going to play a clip for you all. Let's get away with that because we wanted to follow up from last week about our healthcare workers. So watch this little clip from Northwestern Medicine. I work for Northwestern University, so I support the things that they do for their healthcare workers. So check this out. So, to healthcare workers, just to follow up with that, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I don't think we could say thank you enough to our healthcare workers. They have really been the ones who have really made this thing uh like easier to cope with for us, easier to deal with, easier to adjust to. It hasn't been an easy foot for them. They have had to endure things that I would never ever want to have to endure, right? Never. And I don't even know if I have it in me to endure. They are strong people for others. There was a study that came out just recently. There was a study that came out, actually not recently. They did the survey of nurses back in March of last year to, it was like March 31st to May 4th, I believe. And they found that nurses in particular were most worried about the people they could impact by working in environments with COVID-19. And this particular concern caused them to be depressed and anxiety and stress. So it wasn't even, they have hearts of gold. It wasn't even about them. It was about others for them. I say all the time that if you are a nurse, it's like being a pastor, being someone called into ministry. It's a calling. It's not something that is like, oh, wake up one morning and say, I want to be a nurse. It don't work like that. At least not how I understand it. That's not how I see it. I see it as a complete calling, as something that you have to have an anointing to do. Okay? That's how I see it. So I'm going to first pull up this is an article that I read that pointed out some pointers for our people in the healthcare industry. In particular, that segment that we watched was kind of centered around healthcare workers overall, but this particular article talks about some pointers that nurses can use for themselves. If I can just get to it before I pull it up, before I put it on the page, I want to be able to find it, right? Um, Interesting. Oh, here it is. It's right there in my face. Come on, Nia. Right there in my face. So, let's see. I can't make myself smaller to make it larger. That's not good. So anyway, it says that some particular anxieties facing nurses is patient morality, exhaustion, personal safety, worries, workload, case complexities, skills mix, and loved ones' health are among the vast range of stressors that cut across professional settings. So they had also given some things that nurses can do. They had pointed out like participating in yoga and um, yeah, here it is. Coping with mechanisms for nurses during the pandemic. So some of the tips that they included was like just yoga and doing things that are stress relieving, trying to have Zooms and things with family. And I thought that that stuff was really good suggestions. But I want to call on the people. The people. I think that we need to do our parts, and because nurses, they care for other people, they worry about us. So I think that we should make it our business to care about them, to do something to help them. Gestures, nice gestures. Take them out, take them for walks when the weather gets nice. Let them know that their work is valuable. Let them know that during this time we really appreciated them. Anything that we can do, go to yoga with them, exercise with them, help them find stress relievers so that they can, begin to process what they experienced throughout the pandemic. Because it's like, I think that when you're in that, you're on fight or flight. Is that the saying? You're on that mode. So a lot of times I think that people in healthcare, they're going through it, but they're not really taking it in. So I think this is the time that we really have to be supportive, be a shoulder to lean on. And I just want to continue to open up my platform to help nurses in particular tell their story. Um, that's just where my heart is. I like to work with the nursing industry, people in nursing, from RNs to the home health aides, people that are in nursing are there. That's the group that I gravitate towards for reasons that I've explained millions of times before. But I think that I say this, I've said this before a while ago. I did a veterans history project, and I learned that people going through their story, kind of telling what happened, can be therapeutic. So uh, or even how you became, remembering how you became a nurse, just like the veterans remembering why they got into that field or why they decided to go into the military to begin with. Just kind of recapping through that and going through that mindset to help you kind of get your zhuzh back, to get your motivation back. So I want to share this video that I did previously when I was calling the nurses early on. And it could have been a little premature, but I want to make the call again to nurses to share their stories. So I'm going to pop this in. Let's see if we can get the full view. Hello, I wanted to put out a video because I wanted to address the call on nurses that I have out right now. I am seeking to profile nurses for the edition of my annual edition that I have come out every year. This year, I just want to take a moment to recognize nurses. Nurses Week, I believe, is May 6th through the 12th. And I just feel like that this is a good time to do what I have been wanting to do for a long time. And that is shine a light on a group of people that are very special. And I know it's so many healthcare workers out there that's doing, and just people that's doing phenomenal work. But I just want to use this opportunity to start acknowledging nurses. I said that in my previous video, but I wanted to come on and address it specifically. And for nurses, it is not anything that is going to be in depth or really deep. Although I would like to, at some point, have face-to-face interviews. It is a short questionnaire that you can log on to OnePlove.com and fill out. And I just want to take a moment to recognize you. And I know that nurses are the ones, especially the ones that I know, are so humble. It's hard to get them to acknowledge themselves. So this isn't easy, getting people to say, oh, recognize me. So if you can find it in your heart to share your story so that we can recognize you. We just want to kind of get into the mind of people who go into a career that care for people the way that you all do. And I just want to expose that greatness. So if you can take some time to just share and answer a few of the questions. It's not 100% related to the pandemic right now. Just getting to expose the people that's behind these heroes that we keep hearing about. And yeah, OnePlove.com. I look forward, like I said, to telling your story. It's a project that I had done with veterans, and I thought it was a great way for them to kind of recount what they experienced and why they decided to go in the direction of servitude. So if you have a moment, when you have a moment, if you could just go to OnePlove.com and fill out the questionnaire, I would appreciate it. And I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. Bye. So there it is. That is the request, and I'm requesting it again. Hopefully, I can get some feedback, and also that website, that's OnePlove. I believe that form is still up there. I don't think that I changed it. Let me just make sure. Oh, it changed. So I'll make sure I get that form up. Probably when this airs, it'll be up there. I'll make sure that I'll add something to that. It goes to my foundation's website. I changed so much. Even physically, I changed a lot, right? And that was just like last year. So anyway, it has been a blast. Talking about positive things has been fun. It's not as weighty as the other stuff. So if you haven't, though, and you have the chance, please look at that segment that I have on febrile seizures. I'll try to tag it at this point so that it pops up when I mention it. But if you can, take a look at it. I think it is something worth looking into. I think it's something that is worth exploring. I think it's something that we can take into our communities and educate parenting groups. To begin to have conversations, young mothers just begin to talk to our people about some of these issues. So take a look at that. Start thinking about our initiative where we're looking into building film studios throughout Chicago. I'm sure that there are other conversations taking place. I'm willing to connect. I love to connect. I love to have conversations. If you want to talk on the show, give your spiel on what's going on in that area, feel free to give me a call. Check out the website, www.onepurposemagazine.com. You can find me there. But in the meantime, and until next week, I want you all to stay blessed. I love you. Got love for you. Tell your cousins, tell your friends, tell all your people that you love them because life is short. Until next time, take care.